Welcome, California Association. Very happy to have you here. These are my most uh, exciting sessions for me. I just love Mark and Michael. They're always so much fun. And this topic is so cool. And we're basically going to spend an hour just geeking out about some of the incredible things that AI can do in your real estate. Hello, everybody. My name is Sam. I am on the marketing team here at Realvolve. We are a real estate CRM company and workflow platform. So what's so cool about this for Mark and I is we've been helping agents automate their business for years. And now everyone's talking about AI, and all of a sudden people are thinking more about automation. It's becoming more accessible, which is very, very exciting for us. So a quick introduction of our panelists here. Mark Stepp, say hi, wave your hand. Mark Stepp is our Chief Innovation Officer at Realvolve. He is the Chief AI ChatGPT user as well. And it's been a lot of fun to interact with him and kind of brainstorm some ideas for the industry. And Michael Thorne, our special speaker. If y'all remember him from the last AI session we did, Michael runs a real estate team up in British Columbia, has been very successful, and he and his team use AI literally every single day, in his own words.
Not even figuratively, literally
yes. Yes. So
So easy to do that.
yeah, we're gonna launch a quick poll here. So this is sort of a part two. Not really, but sort of, right? It's a follow-up to the last session. So I want to know where everyone's at in terms of how often do you use a tool like ChatGPT, which is where a lot of the conversation today is going to be centered on. And then did you attend our last session as well? Gives us an idea of, kind of how we can continue from there, summarize and make sure this is helpful for everybody. We can send out the recording from the last session too. So I'll just go ahead and include that in the recording with this session. Will be recorded. You will get it. You'll have full access to it for as long as you want. And we'll leave that poll up there for a little bit. Michael, we'll start with you. Just kind of, if you could just introduce yourself really quickly, kind of let us know your experience with AI. We'll move on to Mark, and then we'll get right into our topic.
Sure. Yeah. So I work on a real estate team with two other amazing agents, Jordan Mazie and Trisha Bongers. And we are just outside the remarkable city of Vancouver, British Columbia, about 35 minutes east. And our team has always been early adapters, whether that's paperless technology, whether that's video marketing, whatever it is. We've always been early adapters. And I started to go down the rabbit hole of AI over sort of the Christmas lull that is real estate. And I was blown away by it. It is a fundamental part of how our team does their business every single day. I don't think we've adopted a technology that's so broad and touched so many different aspects of our business so quickly and so easily. And that's why it's got such a high adoption rate, is because you just have to talk. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to know the back end. And Mark's definitely going to get into that when we start talking about some of the new things about it. And what I found very, very interesting, Sam, when you said, let's do a second one, let's talk about 5 more ways to use AI. A number of the things, or the majority of the things we're going to be talking right now, weren't like we didn't get to them last time. Right. They didn't exist last time. And yes. if you were a real estate agent like I was during the internet evolution, I started real estate before email was a thing. So I've seen it change, and that adoption through the internet years, the 1995 to 2005, for a lot of agents was so fast paced, was so brisk, was moving so quickly. This is, for every month that goes by is a year of that decade from 95 to 2005. It is moving extremely fast paced. And those that can get on the wave and get their head around it can stay in front of it very, very easily. Those that let it sort of go by the wayside and says, I'll catch up to it next year when I've got some more time, it'll be hard to catch up, just because I think it's moving so fast. That's my opinion anyway. But it's amazing what changes every single day.
It's every day now. And that's funny, because I I felt like I shot myself in the foot with the five ways. It sounded catchy when we did the first session, and then I'm like, well, I
Yeah.
have to do five more. But it is just uh, each one of the topics could be a million topics today. It's difficult to kind of
Yeah.
quantify the ways that AI, but today's session will definitely be valuable. And then Mark, how are you using this on the tech side of things, and how that relates to real estate? How are you using this on the back end? What are you seeing in terms of industry changes for technology companies like us, and where we might be headed?
Absolutely. Well, before I do that, I do want to compliment Michael on his words, adapt versus adopt. You are
Mm.
constantly adapting to what this is, even though you may adopt it. And I the terminology there is spot on. So I have been using and reviewing AI stuff for some time. Prior to the November release of ChatGPT, it was a matter of playing with it. Does it work well? Whatever. And in November is really when it kicked off because of the interface, because of the capabilities and the things that they recently added. And getting into it, playing around with it, is fun, guys. It really is, because you're able to do the creation of content in a way that you've never been able to before and have it come out with what you want. But you've got to be able to ask the right questions to get the right content. And that's going to be a theme of mine for some time to go, and making sure that everybody learns how to ask the appropriate questions, and making sure that you get what you want.
Yeah, and it's super exciting. I'm very excited just to be alive, I guess, and kind of seeing this happen. It is definitely scary when you think of what the world is going to look like 5 years from now. But this profession in real estate is so unique because I feel like it is fundamentals of being a real estate agent are not going to change. Just the way agents do business is. So really quickly to show everyone where I'm going, or where we're going to go. We already went through that today. So, we kind of already touched on this discussion. We'll have a little bit more of that. We're going to get right into some of the updates since our last session. So some of the plugins, some of the new features that ChatGPT Plus has released, and then how Michael is using it, Mark, how you're using it as well. I want to hear from both of you what you're using, what you recommend for agents to start testing and start using themselves. And then we're going to get right into Code Interpreter. So this is the big thing. This is a big update to the system. It changes everything in terms of how we use it. And then at the very end, we're going to go into more applications and how we can use this with our CRM, and how this is essentially going to go ahead and change everything. So as far as getting into the specifics, Michael, how do you see this changing the business structure, the business model? Is there going to be a drastic departure? Are agents going to have their own AI bots and assistants to be able to keep up with client demands? What are your initial thoughts on that as far as what we can expect?
Yeah, I'm doing another session for our office here next month, and the big takeaway that I really want to drive home during that is allowing these technologies to get you through that 3-4 hours of work that you got to get done every day in an hour and 10 minutes instead of 3 or 4 hours, for the quality of the content you create during that 1 hour, hour and a half to be much superior than it was prior, so that you can go and be human in front of your clients the hours that you regain back from your business. I really think, when we talked about it in the last webinar, there's going to be winners and losers in this. I think we can use chatbots. I think a lot of the opportunity that we see with the way AI is to get behind us, to do those things behind us in our CRMs, in our daily management, in our content creation, in our data analytics, so that we can become closer to our client. Because I think that this will become the norm so much that the really scary part is people that start or rely on vanilla. Vanilla might work today. And I just saw Nanette right in there. I'm just starting my real estate career. It's so exciting. But here's the thing about for people, you can kind of just be normal and it not be, and you can grow your business. Normal will be so scary because we won't know if it's real in the future. Normal or average will be so scary that we have to become more human. We have to go out our way to create these human opportunities, to touch people through note cards and whatnot. I walk into my office every morning and there's a stack of cards on my desk that have birthday names, their birth year. So like they're 52 years old today, and all our home anniversaries are on my desk the moment I walk into the office. That's Realvolve that does that. He gets that organized to let me know that those things are out there. Our assistant draws them up, but I handwrite those things. So technology allows me to be more personable in a much more efficient manner. And I think that's the way it's going to be going forward. I think we have to look at opportunities to avoid putting technology between us and our client, but to use it behind us to give us those opportunities. That's where I really think the win is.
It allows you to add that superpower to you as an agent to be able to
Absolutely.
do the things that you need to do quicker, easier, more efficient.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It's exciting for sure. So let's get right into ChatGPT plugins updates. I know we have some new features since the last time, Michael. So if you want to go ahead and kind of share your screen, I know. So to give everyone some context, so if a lot of you did not attend our last session, we talked a lot about voice, tone, and style prompts, to where you are telling ChatGPT to write in your voice. So those prompts we have, I'll get them to everybody. You can have them alongside the last session, so you can get yourself all caught up. But this is going to kind of change some of that and add to some of that. So if we can go ahead and get right into that, we can kind of see
absolutely
how things have changed.
There's my screen for you. And if I type in here, and this is in ChatGPT before, and if I just simply say, write a paragraph about why our team does what they do. Now, this is a brand new chat, and I'm going to tell it to write a paragraph, and we'll go see what the response is. ChatGPT 4. Our team is driven by the collective passion to make a difference in the world through innovation and creativity. Recognizing today's digital age, technology has the power to transform lives, industries, societies at large. We see opportunities, complexities, challenges presented every day. I think this is just garbage. Permitted to solutions, practical sustainability, elevate humans. Our work is a testament of technology and strives. Now, I don't know if it's talking about ChatGPT. I don't know what it's talking about, but it's not about our team. And it's certainly not in the voice that we would normally talk about, because all I gave it was the prompt is write a paragraph about what our team does and write about what we do. So I'm going to copy and paste that question or that statement. And then I'm going to come down here to my settings. And in our settings, there's this new feature called custom instructions. And this is really what our last webinar was all about. Getting it to prompt your voice, getting it to add your voice was a big part of it. And what you have to understand is it needs context. ChatGPT absolutely needs context for your outputs to be relevant. And so they've added it right into it. So how important it is that they've changed their platform so it's involved. In this first section, you can add up to 1,500 characters about what you are, who you are. Based in the heart of the Fraser Valley, we are the Thorne Mazie Real Estate Bongers, a real estate group, a team of dedicated professionals, blah, 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 blah. And then on the bottom part, it's like, how do you want me to respond? And so we always say, act like a highly skilled real estate copywriter. If we were working on more technical stuff, we would change this out. Here's your writing and tone guide. And we talked about this last webinar. Here's how I want you to talk. We talk very much like David Allen, the author, so we give that information in there. When writing, you will not reference David Allen. So if I turn this on and I press save, it will affect every single new chat that I have with ChatGPT. So if I go into ChatGPT again and pop over to 4 and ask that exact same question, right? This is the whole point about seeding it. We'll see how different the response is now. Let's dive into the core of why the Thorne Mazie Bongers real estate groups do what we do. You see, it's just not about property transactions. It's about balance sheets for us. Oh no, it's much more than that. It's about the aroma of freshly brewed coffee in a newly renovated kitchen, or the echoing laughter of children playing in the lush backyard. By the way, California, we don't have fair housing rules here, so we can talk about children playing and that sort of stuff. But you can see just like how dramatically different the response is, and what a time saver is for me just to go ahead and ask it to create content. 3 weeks ago or a month ago when we got together, I mean, the first 3 things we had to do every time we wanted a good output was to seed it with information. And this is like, I'm not like a new update, like 4 days old update. And it's in the Plus account. I would imagine that it's going to roll out to everyone very soon, but you can see that it's continuing to talk and automatically says things about woven into the fabric of the Fraser Valley. That's where Langley is located, in the Fraser Valley. It knows this content. And so I can just really ask it to do something, and it does something very, very quickly in our team's voice with our knowledge. Instantly. It is 100% a game changer as far as getting great content all the time. And I can turn it on and off whenever I want, but it stays on. If we were talking about maybe doing some SEO, whatnot, or data analytics, I would change them from being a copywriter. I'd give it a different persona, but that's just can easily be swapped out, and then you can just move on.
Yeah, and for everyone that has not gotten into ChatGPT, so what I did take from the last few sessions we've done, I created a free course. There's video modules there. It shows you how to get into ChatGPT, how to create an account, how to set it up, which I now need to update. So I'm working on that because things, once you start creating content like this, it changes everything.
Good luck staying on top of all that stuff.
I know, my goodness. But guys, that is free, and it shows you how to get the account set up. It shows you those prompts are in there for you guys to download and start utilizing. But that is massive. It's instantly changing the way I use it as well. As far as plugins go, and hopefully everyone's tracking with us here, but as far as plugins go, anything, I wanted to open that up to both of you. Anything you're using, seeing, talking about, what's got your eye?
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, there's one plugin that I use 90% of the time if I use a plugin, and that's WebPilot. ChatGPT was using their Bing integration. Getting ChatGPT connected to the internet is just a huge leap forward to be able to draw on relevant information. They had a native way to use Bing, and what was happening was it was able to get behind the firewalls of the New York Times and whatnot and pull content that was behind a paywall. They'll figure that out and they'll bring that back out. But in the meantime, the WebPilot plugin is so important. You can give it a link to one of your pages on your website, let's say a market update or a neighborhood, and you can just give it the link, and you can say, based on the information found at this page, write me 5 engaging Facebook posts that will encourage people to go through and read this content. So it will go there, it will find out what the page is all about. You don't have to tell it. It will read that information, and then it will provide you context based on that. Interact, I think Ask PDF is a big one too as well, although I think more on the code interpreter side, I rely on that side a little bit more. But for me, it's the WebPilot plugin is the standout. There are some real estate based in there. There's Redfin is in there, Zillow's in there.
Actually,
but WebPilot's
Michael, they recently removed both of those.
They removed both of them. See, it's so fluid.
I'm trying to figure out why at this point, but both Redfin and Zillow have been removed as plugins.
Yeah,
very interesting. Okay. And what about you, Mark? Any plugins you're using consistently that agents would be able to?
Yeah, the same one, getting to the web. There are, I think, 100 different pages of different types of plugins. A lot of it has to do with Bitcoin and things that just aren't relevant for what we do in the real estate industry. The ability to take content from PDFs, utilizing that, interpreting that is a big one. If you're getting any kind of report of some sort by PDF and you want to use the content of that particular report, use the PDF interpreter piece and deal with it that way is a very easy way of doing it. And there's 2 or 3. occasionally I'll do some memes. There's some meme things where I want to personalize it and it'll just create it. But that, that's fun stuff. That's not as much business related.
And this is and just so everyone's tracking, there were about 35 of you that have never used this before. So go to openai.com. You can start a free ChatGPT account. And before we move on to Code Interpreter, I just want to make sure everybody is tracking. So that is self-explanatory, right? So this is not us. We don't own OpenAI. This is a tool that everyone is using. It's taking the world by storm. This is what everyone is talking about. So if you go to, once you have the plus version, if you do end up signing for the plus version, going to beta features in your settings, you can enable plugins, you can enable the custom instructions, which is what we just talked about, seeding your voice into that custom instructions section, and then Code Interpreter, which let's go ahead and get into that. I feel like we could probably spend the rest of our time in that, but just so everyone is tracking, this is the tool that everyone is talking about and that we are using today. And the latest feature, Code Interpreter, has some incredible tricks up its sleeve that apply directly to how all of you can be using AI. So let's jump right into that, Michael. I know you had some really awesome stuff that you were excited to jump into. So
I think what people have to do, and I'm going to show you one example, and you'll go, oh, I would never use that. I might not put that out on social media because I can do better on another platform. Yes, but this didn't exist 2 weeks ago. It's really important to see where it's going. Our last time we spoke, ChatGPT was text in and text out. If you could ask it via text and it could respond via characters, so it could be code, it could do it. Now you can give it a photo and it can give you a video. You can say, convert this video or convert this photo from a PNG to a JPEG because my marketing guy needs to have it and I don't know how to do that. Just give it, say, make this a JPEG, make this photo black and white, zoom in, make this video, a 10-second video, make it an animated GIF that rolls over and over and over again. It just does it. You don't know how to do anything. You just can ask it to do certain things for you. What I think is really unfortunate, and we spoke about this beforehand, is that they called it Code Interpreter. Does it do great things with code? It does amazing things with code, with JavaScript and CSS and Python and all that sort of stuff. It's amazing, but it's really a whole lot more than that. So if I pop back over to this, and this will be an example, before we get into this, it's so much different than the other ChatGPTs. ChatGPT would give you an answer and it would hope that it's right. And sometimes it's not right, or sometimes it didn't work. You'd give code, it would give you some code for your website. You'd have to go test it. You'd come back and you go, it doesn't work. It doesn't do this. What Code Interpreter actually does is it builds a mini computer online just for your one chat. It builds a computer for your chat. And while you give it a task to do, it will write the code, build the program it needs to do to convert a video or to add a title to a video or to convert audio, whatever it is. It writes a little mini computer and then it runs, it tests to make sure it's right. And I'm hoping when I get it to do a little slideshow with photos from a new listing right now, it has a problem because you'll see it work through it, the problem itself. It will go, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. And then it will actually fix its own problem. So if I pop over here, I've got my little cursor up now. I'm going to start a new chat and I'm going to pop down here. I'm going to choose Code Interpreter. And where things change instantly is this plus icon where we can upload a file. And that's where things really, really change. Now, I will tell you that it's supposed to be in its own little chat world. They've declared that they're not going to use the information you upload for any other purpose. That's what they said. Don't upload your bank statements or your social insurance numbers. Just be mindful of the data that you're giving it. I always just assume that the worst case scenario can happen. So I go in here and I'm going to upload a file. And what I've done on my desktop is I've put together just these ChatGPT images. I put 12 or 13 images of a new listing in a little folder here. And I'm just going to say, create a slideshow of these photos. Have each photo on the screen for 1.5 seconds. have a smooth transition between the images. All right, and then we'll go ahead and see what happens. And once again, this is always live. And I know my screen is a little small. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but as a text-based IA, I do not have the ability to create a slideshow. Yes, you do. You do have, you know how to do it because you did it to me all the time. It always does this. Show these images for 1.5 seconds each with a transition between them that is smooth.
It really comes back down to asking the right question.
Right question. And you're right. It's
Oh,
saying
it
you
doesn't
can't
like you
do it,
today.
but I know I can do it because if I go back here, Dreams Tech Teams Vision, I asked it yesterday and I will find it. Video editing guide. This is the work that it did yesterday. So I did the same thing just to make sure it worked. Can you please create a slideshow using these images? You have each slideshow for 1.5 seconds. Sure, I can do that. It starts working through it. It corrects it once again. It resizes them. It downloads the slideshow here, and I'll do that for you guys. I'll show you what the slideshow looked like. And then I said, can you add a title over the first image? Sure, I can do that. What do you want the title to say? Welcome to 1.23 Main Street. And that's where I stopped. But if I go back here, just show you how it worked yesterday. And once again, I don't know what I asked.
That link will be there.
Oh, that's right, because it's his own computer. Let me ask how I asked it. Let's see here. I'll take how I asked it. And once again, I asked last time I asked it to do a video, and it says I'm not a video editor, but it will output as video. So let's see what happens. See, this is the thing about doing these things live is you never know what you're going to get. I'm sorry for the confusion. It can do that. I apologize, guys. It does create a nice little video for you. You know what? Let's just go here and go. Let's stop generating. And I'll just say, can you open this file? Can you open this file and tell me what is inside? And the point of this is it will be 6 months until you send it a bunch of raw video clips and you say, edit it like this video on YouTube, this listing video, and it will be music. And like, it's just like, we are at the cutting edge of things real quick. And you can see that it's going through, it's writing code. It's writing a little computer that's going to go in and look at it. See, these are the name of the images. I named them all crazy stuff. GPG VIP file contains the following images. These are just what I called them real quick. Create a slide show of the images with each image on screen for 2 seconds. It will have to wait to finish it, and we'll see if this ends here, then we'll move on to the next one. But it does work. And now it's doing it. So maybe I just had to open it. Maybe that's a good lesson for me to learn, get it to recognize what it's working with.
Yeah.
If I told them it was images in there beforehand, we would have done it. So let's go on to the next one. Well, it's building up the slideshow because it takes a little while sometimes to do it. And then we can go ahead and do some other points too as well.
Yeah, I just got it working as well. I don't know if it's like a traffic issue. But here I can kind of share.
Yeah. So right now it's saying that it's created the image. Here's the download link for the slideshow. Now, I was doing this really, really quick, and I didn't ask it to do the transition in between. I didn't tell it to do that sort of stuff, but I can open this, start the download of it. And let me go to downloads. There's the slideshow. I open it up. And it did it as a GIF. So I guess I have to file play. I can ask it to export it as a MP4. Can you export it as an MP4? Yeah, so I mean, I guess the point of this is it's just absolutely shocking of how far it's come in 6 months. Hey, all we can do is text.
Crazy.
To now you can get it as, I mean, there's a list: CSV files, MP4 files, AVI files, images, like you can give it a photo and say, make it black and white and zoom in on the person's face. And now it's getting to the point where it's coming now where you can give it the images and you can say, what is this image? And they'll say it's a dog riding a skateboard with a park in the back. It won't be very long before you can give it an image of a living room and say, write a story about this living room. And it will, it'll recognize the architectural style and the type of furniture that's in there and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, this is, I just put this up in there, and it basically, I just had create a video, and it's like, I need more. So it gave me instructions on what to tell it. Video duration, zoom level, pan direction, output. It asked for, right, like a pan, zoom. 5 seconds, gradually zoom, 1.5x pan to the right, MP4, 1080p, 24 frames per second. So this is just the intro slide to our session today, but I'm just sort of pull this up to see.
So the video is back. I don't know how quick it runs, but I'll just show you real quick where we got to. So there you can see it can go through and do those photos like that. And it could, maybe I asked it to do 3. But you can see how quickly it's going to go to the next level, to the next level, and then that wasn't with the transaction. I could have a title to it, but I don't know how to edit. All I need to know is if I know what I want and I can articulate it to someone across the table at a coffee shop, use the same thing using this technology. That's where the real huge big win is.
Right. Even when you don't know how to do something, you've got to articulate it to someone. Why not now articulate it and not be charged that fee for,
Mark, that is such an amazing point. I want to get an interactive map done of our community where you click on different areas of the community, and it's hard. I know how to add a hyperlink to an image. And I went on and I said, what is this map called? It's called this type of map. Okay, if I were hiring someone to do it, what would I search in Google? Like, I didn't even know what the thing was called. And it said, here's how you do it. I said, great. If I hire someone to do it and they send it back to me and I decided that I want to change one of the areas to a different link, is it easy just to go in and swap out the code? And he says, it's super easy. If you just give me the code and tell me the new link, I can swap it out for you. And you go, oh, that's stuff I didn't know. I didn't know how to ask the questions. You're right. You have to ask somebody. You're absolutely right. You have to ask somebody. It's stunning what it can do.
Absolutely
incredible. Yeah, this is so fascinating to me because, again, this is what, you said 4 days old, Michael?
Yeah. For the voice and whatnot. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and we're going to get onto it but just sort of to reclaim how amazing this is and get people back on being impressed. Hopefully this is our real estate market update website that we normally put out our stats, but this interactive graph with our house price index, this was all generated. The code for this was generated with the code interpreter. I gave it my MLS stats, and we'll show you how to do that. And it creates these, it's kind of insane. Now, I took the code and I gave it to a service that creates these really great and hosts the interactive graph, but I didn't do all the data research. I said, here's the data, create a graph in this format with this information, the average sale price and whatnot. Now, that's amazing to be able to do that, to be able to interpret that data in a way. And I have double-checked it, triple-checked it, and it's accurate and it's right. Disclaimer at the bottom of your website, of course. But you should also be checking to make sure it's right. But I mean, this sort of stuff is just, this be able to interact with this sort of content and have this value, whether that's in a market update that goes out to your clients through Realvolve or whatever it is. I couldn't do that before. I couldn't do that.
So let's talk about that then, because that's the next point of this code interpreter that I wanted us to touch on is data analytics. So what data should realtors be putting into something like ChatGPT 4? Where could they get that from, and what data should they avoid?
Yeah, so well, I'll show you exactly what I did the other day when we're sitting down with our team. If I go to desktop, here I'll make sure you guys are on there. If I go to my desktop, I've got this CSV file. I'm gonna go up this. These are all the sales. It's really, really pretty. These are all the sales in Willoughby marketplace. These are all townhouse sales in the last 3 months. And what I did was I just went to my MLS, and I'm sure most MLSs are the same, where I just exported a CSV file. Almost any program you use, you can export data in a CSV file. So I went there and I said, hey, I did my search for listings and I've got all this data. So now I got all this data. The question is, what can I possibly do with that? So if I pop back over here to ChatGPT, and we will create a new chat. And I know that this will work for you guys. It's not as crazy, code interpreter. And I'm going to upload that CSV file found on my desktop. That's called Willoughby Sales. And I go ahead and click open. Now it has all this data. It has all this data. And I can say, create 10 visuals with this data, focusing on home values in Willoughby townhomes. Now, sometimes when you say create 10 visuals, it's going to compare bedrooms to bathrooms, which it's not a really meaningful data, but this is just to give you an idea of how this is going to work. And you can, if you're interested, and I'm always interested, you can pop in here and you can see it's creating a computer to analyze all this data. And it will start to look through and it will look for things that you would never have seen inside the data. And Sam and I were talking on the phone last night. I mean, you could give it your data from your CRM and it can say, hey guys, your people that have lived in their home 8 to 12 years are converting at a 5-time rate than those people who've lived in their home for 4 to 8 years. And therefore, if you are going to double up your unsolicited CMAs and all that other stuff that I love to do, double down on those people first because their conversion rate is higher. It can look for trends that you don't see. And so it's going to create visuals. It's going to clean up the data. It's going to do trends in list price and sale price over time, distribution of prices per square foot, relationship between days on market and sale price. It's going to do relationship between square footage and sale price. It's going to do trends in year built and age of townhomes and distribution of strata fees, which was something that it did for me the other day, which I don't know. Strata fees are HOA fees in Canada. And so it's cleaned up the data. It's determined that these are the headings that it has. It's got address, list price, sale date per square foot, sale date, sold date, days on market. It's got this information for all the sales. And now it's going to create visuals that I could download. I can say at the end of the process, give me those visuals in an HTML format that I can embed on my website. Give it to me as a PDF so I can attach it and send it out to my clients. It will create the data. So the data has successfully been cleaned up. And for people that do data, there are people that all they do every day for hours is clean data. And it does it instantly. It will go ahead and clean that data. And so it will go through and it will just keep working. And it's going to give us, I don't know, it looks like it's going to give us some visuals here.
Yeah, whenever you start talking about DBAs, the database analysts, and you're talking big bucks too.
Yeah.
To have somebody look in, not only big bucks, but a lot of time of analyzing. And you're doing this in minutes versus
yeah, absolutely. And if we pop back down to this page, you can see that this is called Langley Real Estate Market Update Monthly Analysis and Predictions. Something that in my 30-year career, a word we've never used is predictions, because predictions are so, but when you've got this, you can say, start to create, give me 10 predictions based on all this data, thousands and thousands of data points. Analyze it. Give me what you think is going to happen next based on this information over the past 3 years of sales or HPI price or how interest rates. It gave me the confidence to start to put some, obviously with a little bit of asterisks next to it, but predictions that I would never have seen ever before. I just don't know how to interpret that data. So if we pop back here, it's going to create these graphs, but it's amazing what it can get out of there.
And just to,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna really quickly. I don't know if y'all can see this, but I got this video to work, and
sweet, click it over. This is awesome.
You know, it's not perfect because I had to do a 1.5 zoom, but I told it the duration and everything, and this is the title for today's webinar, and it was corrupted at first, and I said, "Hey, this is corrupted. Please fix." And it said, "Oh, yep, I made a mistake in the HTML. Let me fix that really quick." I'm just like, so as far as application, you know, you have a listing, you have a shot from the front, and you know what's really popular these days is, you know, that front yard shot, and you do drone footage, right? And you pay several $100s sometimes for a drone to kind of fly in. But if you can get a wide angle shot at the front of your listing, and you know, you don't have to know code, you don't have to have a Canva account or anything. You can go in and be like, hey, create a pan, like pan on this shot. It's a wide angle, zoom in 1.24, 1.25, and create a pan effect on this video. And just like that, you have a nice little, you know, I mean, there's probably way more applications than that, but that's the first thing that came to mind in terms of just easy.
Absolutely. It's
crazy.
It's like, once again, we couldn't even give it an image 2 weeks ago. Like like the speed of what it's moving is shocking. So if we pop back over here, just for you guys, these are the visuals it's done. And I think I can open image in new tab, and so we can zoom in on it. But I think it downloaded the image. But not only did it give me 4 visuals, but it gives me then a description of what that visual is. So for this one here, this is, and I know it's hard, for distribution of number of bedrooms, sold price per square foot. It goes through that information. Sale prices are between $450 on the low end, $700 on the high end. These are the number of bedrooms that were sold in the last 6 months, the number of, so obviously 3 bedrooms being by far the most popular. This is days on the market in relationship to sale price. So you can see the sale price maybe goes down a little bit above asking price because this is 100% value. And you can see that all these properties here sold for more than asking price in the first 20 days. And then as we go past those 20 days, those little X's aren't above that line anymore. So therefore you can tell your client, and then it gives you this great explanation of what everything is that you could put into a blog post or just send out to your client. And now it's going to work on the next one's distribution of strata fees, which is very, very interesting. But I didn't even tell it what data to analyze. I just said, give me some data and tell me some interesting things about what's happening. And then take it to the next level. If you know what you want out of that, I mean, it takes it to even to the next level. And I asked for visuals, but you could have said, give me a CSV file, or like I did for these graphs. I said, hey, pull out all this data, and you guys can't see it, pull out all this data and just give me a CSV file that contains the home price index over the past, year and a half, and clean up that data so that I could just simply give it to a platform that does these graphs for me. I didn't have to sit there and copy and paste, all the sales and put it into a Google sheet, nothing like that.
Right.
Here's the data, give me this, send it off. And so these sort of things are just, and now this is all, now we've got this almost automated in the background for us that will automatically pull that data, which is, I mean, of course, higher level, but just lets you know the sort of things that can be done is unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And
that's, that places you, and this is, and you've always talked about this, Michael, in terms of, you were big into video, and you talked a lot about how, using video to kind of using technology to get behind you and put you in front of the customer and make you more of that authority, make you more relational. And this is, having this data at your fingertips to be able to share with your clients is incredible. And I was thinking while you're saying that, I mean, if say we have a realtor that's been in their market and they've been operating there for 25 plus years, can you pull your listings from the MLS and just analyze, like, that you could say, hey, like, none of my listings have ever been more than 15 days on the market, or who knows, right? Like,
if you can search it on your MLS,
right.
I'd be shocked if you can't export that in a CSV file. I just almost every platform you have, anywhere you go, you can output that data. And the other interesting thing, a lot of publicly available information, especially in the States. I mean, you can easily go to your local municipality or your local city, grab the most recent census data, and really interpret that in a really meaningful way. Like, how has the increase of population compared to the increase of home values over the time? Give me all the data. And there's some great websites that will give you like raw data where you can say, put price on a graph compared to interest rates. And then you can start to see those things. Now, you might not be a data-driven human being. I'm certainly not. My business partner, Jorda, is. She loves data. But I understand the importance of data, but I don't want to do the work of it. I just don't want to do that. That's not how I'm built. And so to have this now, to be able to have this data, to interpret it in meaningful ways. And here's the thing, as real estate agents, that we've already noticed in our marketplace, because we can put out these cool visuals that no one else has, right? We're getting shared by local newspapers, local blog posts, other mortgage companies are sharing our information, because it's not what your local board has put out where you're just copy and pasting it. If you think taking the market update from your San Francisco Association or board, and they put out that press release and you put it out there, Google sees that same word 1,000 times. There ain't no way someone's coming to you. They're going to go straight to the San Francisco. But if you can grab it, take it, put your data on it, show something that's different. And we're talking about this world of backlinks and becoming an authority. You'll have the newspaper saying, hey, can you send us three paragraphs every month about what's happening? That happened in an instant because you're able to create content that no one else can see. And it's not even you. You've hired someone to do that for you, to be that professional, to do those services for you, then to put your spin and your voice on it and become an authority that you didn't have an opportunity that didn't exist before. All these things. I've got a 30-year career. I have never put out information like this in my 30-year career. Never.
And you're
never.
focusing
but now I can in a second.
Yeah, you're focusing in on your specialty. You're making sure that even though you had a broad source of data, that the entire MLS data, that gets produced, the system can narrow it down, bring it down to what you specialize in, making sure that that content is focused in on what you want to be focused in on. Now, let me share this real quick. I am somewhat data driven, whatever, and I just did a quick export. Now, normally you would not put out the names. I did, but what I did was I said, I need some data analysis done on a specific file, some questions I want to do. Here's the file. And so again, you probably would not put the names on there just for safety's sake, but then it goes in and it goes through the process of saying, here's the fields, here's the things I want to do. I say, okay, give me a list of the contacts that don't have phone numbers and emails. So I want to go through and clean up my database. Now, most systems can do this, and it should. Revolve does, but it did come up with an error, like you were showing. It says, "Hey, there aren't anybody." I was like, "Well, I know for a fact that Superwoman does not have, an email or number." And it said, "Oh, hey, you are right." And then it goes through and it corrects itself, and then gives me the list of everybody that didn't have it, so I can do data cleanup and stuff. But then I said, okay, give me a list of people that are just my A's or whatever. Then I said, now let's take a snapshot of my database. When did I get, actually the question was show me a graph of the people that I've known since a certain day and divide them by my categories of A and B. So now I can see, I was most heavily doing things during, and this might have been, a heavy growth period. Why was that? So I can do some real analysis on what I'm doing. I said, well, this is shades of green. I really want red and blue. And so it comes back and it brings it back. So, this could be MLS data. This could be whatever. You do what you want. Make this into a pie chart for me and go through the process of dividing it by years. it's just a matter of asking the right question and having it go through that process of generating what you want. This one here, I really, it's like, what can I do? It's a little bit tougher. I said, okay, I've got some contacts that are tagged. They got a tag that has a variation of BB colon. They start with BB, basically. Give me a horizontal bar chart showing the number of contacts in each of those BB variations. So it has interpreted my tags. It found the tags that have BB colon in front of them. It's smart enough to understand these things and then gave me the horizontal. So it's just a matter of asking the right question. It really is an amazing thing. The other thing I did want, go ahead.
And Mark, and just before you show that last one, we are so busy. There is no way we would sit down there and pour through data looking like you can basically say, here's the data, find the needle. Right? Find the needle in the haystack and it will go and find it for you. You would never find the needle on your own. And so, you know, I'm learning at like, why would I want to search my data? Where are the opportunities that are in there? But you can even say, show me tell me 10 things as a realtor that wants to grow in business that I can't see in this data that you can help me understand. Show me where the opportunities lie. And it might not be perfect at the beginning, you might not prompt it the right way, but it will start to look for opportunities that you couldn't see before. The graph that I just did before, I said, just give me 10 visualizations when I first gave it. And it gave me number of bedrooms to bathrooms. But now I can say, give me visualization focused on how it impacts price. And all of a sudden the information comes back very, very differently. It is crazy. Go ahead. Sorry. Mark.
Going back to the one custom instructions, I think this is so critical, especially for people that are just now getting started in this. They may already have a CRM. If they have Realvolve in this case, I'm showing who am I, and then how do I respond. I've also included, hey, I use a CRM called Realvolve for emails and SMS messages. I use the merge field, greeting with brackets, signature with brackets. This is an example, dear greeting, whatever. So anytime I go in there and say, create a Realvolve email template for first-time home buyers that helps address typical concerns of the home buying process, it goes in and it specifies by default the fields that I need for Realvolve, so I don't have to go in there and, you know, type around that or do anything. It just does it. I can copy it, paste it right in there and use it. So, you know, no matter what system you're using, you can do some specialization and make sure that that content is generated what you want and make sure that you're asking the right questions.
Sam, you know how when you ask me to do a webinar with you guys, I always enthusiastically respond with yes. It's for reasons like this. Why I just saw Mark do, I went, of course. Of course, that's what you do. Instead of taking that email and putting in Realvolve and then going through and adding those things by doing the brackets and you can search for it, just have it do it automatically for you. I don't need to do it anymore. Like, thank you, Mark. You've made my day.
You're welcome. Yeah,
that's awesome. I love that.
We had a lot of people that haven't seen this, and I want to make sure that we cover this real quickly. Built into Realvolve, we have the ability to do ChatGPT. Now, this is an SMS message, just a very basic message itself. And I'm going to switch over here real quick and grab a prompt. So let's just say, for instance, we've got this message and built in, I can ask it certain prompts. Now I might go in there and say, you know, on a scale of 0 to 100, where 100 is very positive, what's the sentiment score of this message? I've included the message here, so I just hit that and it goes out and says, you know, rated on this, it's about an 80. Okay, so which, you know, analysis wise, I'd probably rather have something a little bit better. So then I can go in here and say, okay, based off of that, rewrite my message and make it above a 90. So then I go in there and let it rewrite my message. It's rebuilt it and has put in all the stuff. And now the score is above a 90. I mean, tailoring your data has never been easier now. Yep. Making content that maybe was generated for you, you purchased some software, you thought, you know, oh, this will make the difference in my business. And it sounds like everybody else that has ever purchased that software. Now you can come in very easily, customize it and make it you in your voice. and tonality and everything. And it is so critical for being able to do that.
I was exhausted. I was first of all, I was out for a walk and I bumped into a client of mine who stopped me on the street. I have lovely clients, and we had a nice conversation and found out that her son just blew out his shoulder for the last time in his hockey career. Aspiring hockey career has come to an end. And she came up on a contact that I had to reach out to follow up on a certain thing. So I took the templated email. If I had just sent it and not mentioned anything about their boy, it would have seemed weird. And so I just quickly grabbed that and say, rewrite this and include, it was great to see you, recruit something about the fact that I just saw you and that we're thinking about your kid because of the shoulder injury that ended his hockey career. And just real quick, I could have written it, but it's exhausting. It is exhausting sometimes. You got to move on the next thing. And it just did it. And it was flawless. And it was in a second, it rewrote that email and put that context and that tone on it. I changed the tone to more of a sympathetic tone, and it just did it, and it wrote it, and it went out. And those opportunities, once again, eliminating vanilla, like we said, is so easier now than ever before. So therefore, there's no excuse for vanilla. And if you do vanilla, I'm going to stand out as such a much more human and high touch realtor, because in contrast to your vanilla, I'm Rocky Road. And so, that's the real opportunity here.
So just taking a sample message and, rewrite the sympathy of the loss of your pet. I mean, just, something as simple as that. And boom, there you go. You send it out. It's personalized to them. You can even say your pet, Johnny, or, whatever,
Yeah. And
it's shocking what it can do.
Just to emphasize the sort of the order of operations here, right? So one of my favorite coaches that we do a lot of events with is Jennifer Myers, and I think we've done one with her in the California Association, but she always talks about don't rent your CRM, own it. And so a lot of these things we're talking about with data and with these customized templates that we've been helping agents create and implement for many a year now, you have to own your data, to be able to look back on 10, 15, 20 years of real estate and have all of your data in one place. That's the only way you're really going to be able to use the power of these tools to be able to boost your business. And then, and then Realvolve itself, and the way to give you everyone here some nuance on how Realvolve operates. It says, hi there, here's the email. Would you like to send? Right. That's most of what. And then you just check the boxes. You can add merge fields, subtract merge fields. Yes, send it, but also include a transaction summary of where we're at so far in the transaction. And now, not only can you take those merge fields in, include those things like transaction summaries, but hey, rewrite this. Like, Michael mentioned, oh, hey, I just talked to her. Hey, rewrite this and then send it out. So just an amazing what you can do. We are running out of time. We did have a few questions come in, so we'll kind of take a look at those. Man, I wish we had more time. I was also thinking, and I'm curious to back on the data analysis and using data analysis to sort of help your clients and your sphere of influence. I'm curious, and maybe this is a challenge to everybody, but if anyone can find some of the most obscure data points that might relate to the housing market, plug it into ChatGPT. Here's what I had in mind in terms of social media, fun little articles that everyone can post. That is, hey, what's the correlation between donut shops opening, and you can have data on donut shop businesses that have opened and how that some obscure, and it's not to make decisions, simply just to share with your audience, hey, this is pretty cool, this is quirky. And now you're getting into the realm of like BuzzFeed articles, like, oh, hey, like how's
exactly. And Mark, I don't know if you know or Sam, but there's a website that every single time I see a video about Code Interpreter they go to that has like thousands or tens of thousands of these raw data packages about really interesting things. I forget the name of the website, but you can go there and pull down the data and then interpret it for what you want to do. Like you say, coffee shops across the nation or whatever, or zoos per capita, or, there's just crazy stuff you could do to make you, like you say, some really clickable things.
Yeah. Okay. So, we're running up. Okay. Q&A is really fast. Michael, I don't know, you have to head out here pretty quickly. I don't
Yes,
want
my
to hold
20th
you.
wedding anniversary.
I know.
Happy anniversary.
Congratulations, man.
I'm we're heading to the US for the night. We live right on the border. We just got back from Seattle where we saw the Blue Jays beat the Mariners for one game. And now they're down in LA. They lost to the Dodgers last night, but heading down across the border for the night. So get away from the kids.
So before we get into quick Q&As, the recording will be sent out to everybody. You'll get this. I'll send out the last session as well. I will also I included that link to that free course that includes all the prompts and tutorials and a lot of questions that you guys had. It's all there in the free course. I did videos on these, and we're going to hopefully be updating that as well to apply to some of these things today. And then for California agents, if you don't have a CRM, if you're looking for a CRM, get some special promos. It'll redirect you to a page where you can take advantage of those right after this webinar. But if you go to realvolve.com/CAR, there are about $300 in free workflows. We're doing discounts on our premium consulting workflow building services as well. Our goal is to help you build a scalable business, and it's never been more applicable than it is today to workflow things out and make sure that you're running efficiently. And like Michael says, using technology to put yourself further in front of the client, able to do more in less time. So questions. Michael, someone was asking if they could join the Zoom meeting for your office. I don't know if that's a closed meeting, but
Yeah,
how
I
in
can
general
always,
can someone get a hold of you? How can someone reach out? And
if you ever have it, if anyone ever has any questions, and I say this each time, and the beautiful thing is I'll say this in front of 10,000 people at an event, and like 4 people take me up on it. So I have if you ever want a question about it, if there's anything I can ever do to add value to your business, if I can help in any way, hunt me down on Facebook Messenger, fire me off a message. I'm off for my anniversary, so I probably won't get back to you today, but I will get back to you. I'm more than like today. I learned something from Mark. I will learn something from you. So absolutely reach out to me. I'll help any way I can.
Post the link to the California Association of Realtors and the bonuses there. Again, you'll be redirected right after this webinar. Thanks everyone. Thanks for showing up, listening to us. Thank you, Michael, so much. This is always a joy. I love these. Have a good anniversary and a good trip, man.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mike.
See you guys.